Dolphins 29, 49ers 17. I just came back up from the San Francisco locker room.
All right, welcome to Niners Radio 49ers Live Monday. We're here in at Starbucks here in Linda Del Mar, here in Pacifica. This is the halfway point getting towards from here. If you go on the other side past Bonnie Doon Beach, gets you towards Half Moon Bay. Welcome to our 49ers Live Monday edition. We're going to have a very brief show. We're going to go on till about 15 minutes past the top of the hour of 5 o'clock or 5:15 Pacific Standard Time. We're going to have a very short show today because it's the holidays. We wanted to. I am really not up to doing Monday Night Live. We will not be able to give you Kyle Shanahan's conference call today because it's not up yet. What we're going to do, give you the post-game presser from yesterday's 49ers 29-17 loss to the Miami Dolphins. And the Niners were eliminated within minutes prior to their kickoff between the Dolphins as the Rams beat the New York Jets 19-9. The Rams may be one of the hottest teams in pro football going down the stretch drive. They're trying to catch Seattle, and Seattle with their loss yesterday, they'll play next Sunday. That could be for the NFC West title, and the Rams pretty much could win the division outright by winning one of their final two. They could pretty much win the NFC West with a win in a Seahawks loss next week. But the 49ers, you knew their fate was already sealed. The Niners losing yesterday, and it's just another. And then not only that, more injuries. The Niners were self-inflicted by penalties and, et cetera, et cetera. We'll have Kyle Shanahan's post-game presser from yesterday's game down in South Florida at Hard Rock Stadium. The building where the Niners, good and bad. The good was, the good memories and some bad memories. The bad and the ugly was the Niners played nearly 5 years ago in Super Bowl 54 against the dreaded, hated rival Kansas City Chiefs in South Florida, where they squandered had a 20-0 lead under 6.5 minutes left to play in that contest, and they were 6.5 minutes away from winning the franchise's fifth Super Bowl, or their sixth Super Bowl in franchise history, only to see him blow it. And then that's the bet, and it kind of, snowballed into the 2020 season with the COVID season, with all the injuries and all that, and then of course, 2023, and then that carried into and then also, the good is the Niners winning the two of the three Super Bowls they played in Miami. The Thriller in January of '89, some 35 years ago, January 22nd, 1989, the Niners thrilling come-from-behind win over the Bengals when Joe Montana took them the length of the field, 92 yards, and hit John Taylor for that game-winning touchdown with 39 seconds left to play. Gave the Niners their third Super Bowl title of the 80s, gave them, all intents and purposes, the crowning, the designation of the team of the decade, team of the 1980s, and what would be Bill Walsh's final game as head coach of the 49ers. And then of course, Bill Walsh would retire. George Seifert takes over the following year, 35 years ago. In the regular season, the Niners would go on to beat the Broncos to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And then going into, and then also going back-to-back Super Bowls, and then 30 years ago, almost 3 decades ago, Joe Robbie Stadium, January 29th, 1985. Niners they end up beating the San Diego Chargers 29-26, and Steve Young would break Joe Montana's Super Bowl record for the most touchdown passes in a game with 6, and Niners go on to win their fifth Super Bowl in franchise history. They would end up being still stuck on that 5 Super Bowls, but they're 0-3 in this millennium. Since the millennium turned, the 21st century began nearly about 25 years ago, back in the end of 1999, early 2000. So, that was then. Now we're in the present, and the present this is just a mess. The 49ers, more injuries from that game yesterday. Dre Greenlaw left the game with tightness in his calf. I think that he's going to have to shut it down for the rest of the year. It's just no use of making it worse as it already is. And then I think for the veterans, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, just telling him just that, he has to just shut it down for the rest of the year. Don't make it worse than it is, because with your contract year. And then Jalen McDonald left the game with a quad injury. His status is uncertain. He's probably going to miss the final 2 games. Spencer Burford, left tackle, had to play left tackle. Or from left tackle, starting guard. Aaron Banks left with an MCL knee sprain. He probably won't play the last 2 games. Leonard Floyd had a shoulder injury. D. Winters had a chest injury. And the Niners just shot themselves with penalties. 6 penalties on the offense. You had 3 personal foul penalties, 3 for unnecessary roughness, a stupid cheap penalty. Sustained the Dolphins, expanded the Dolphins, sustained those drives. And then, not to mention offensively, Ricky Pearsall, rookie, making mental mistakes, got penalized twice for 2 illegal formation penalties. It cost the Niners, especially the scoring drive. They would have been a 1st and goal, and it got wiped out because of that illegal formation penalty. And this is self-inflicted mistakes. And then his coach, his receivers coach, called him out on the sideline, which he should do. And as a result of that, the Niners end up backed him up. Those 2 illegal formation penalties, a 10-yard swing would have been a 1st and goal. Nick Moody misses a 41-yard field goal. And which is not his fault, because it should never come down to that. If they don't get hit, if it wasn't for either of the legal formation penalties by Pearsall, the Niners probably get 1st and goal, get a touchdown out of that, and the momentum definitely swings in their favor. So self-inflicted, they lose. They drive down the field. They got nothing to show for because of that, and that's kind of been typified of the 49ers season. That's been the typified of the 49ers season. Not getting the breaks the way they had last year. Everything went their way, but this year where it has gone wrong up to this point, could go wrong, not to mention with the injuries, Brandon Ayuk's holdout, and then Devontae Campbell getting suspended for conduct detrimental to the team, where John Lynch went down from his press box and just grilled him, called him out, which he should, and he will not be back with the 49ers next year. So I think when you're looking at going forward for the 49ers, it's just, we will talk about that more in a few moments. Right now, we're going to go directly towards Kyle Shanahan's his press conference right now from yesterday. Talk about the game, and then we'll do a few other things before we go out there. This is going to be a very short, condensed show. There'll be no Monday Night Live tonight. We want to take a little bit of a break to spend some time with the because it's Christmas week, the peak of the holiday season. Want to spend some time this week. So without further ado, we're going to go to that right now. Kyle Shanahan talking about yesterday's game from the presser down at South Florida.
All right, guys, injuries from the game. Greenlaw, right calf, never returned. Leonard Floyd, shoulder, did return. Jalen Moore, quad, did not return. Aaron Banks, knee, did not return. D. Winters, chest, did not return. Go ahead.
They moved Banks out pretty quickly in the press box. Does that denote the seriousness of that?
Yeah, I mean, they thought it was most likely an MCL.
MCU.
What can you tell us about Dre's situation? Is that a reason for concern, the cap?
I mean, it can be. It was the fourth play, or one of the first four plays. I know it was the first drive. He felt tightness in the calf, so once that happened, we shut him down. So we'll see if he pulled it or anything, but we didn't test any more after that.
Kyle, he had tendonitis in that leg last year at the end, Achilles tendonitis. Is there a connection between the two things?
The Achilles tendonitis last year to the calf today?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You guys were officially eliminated from the playoffs even before kickoff, so were you aware of that? And then just what kind of pall, I guess, did that cast over the game?
No, I wasn't aware of that, but that wouldn't have did nothing with the game. I mean, we kind of had that vibe last week. I know it wasn't official, but we understand numbers, so we kind of knew that last week.
At what point did you learn that playoff contention had been eliminated?
I mean, I knew pretty much was last week, so I mean, they told me after the game here that it was official with those two games, but we understand what 1% chances or whatever it was, so pretty much last week.
Kyle, what's just the penalties, everything, and just how you feel about, what did you tell you guys after the game?
That no matter what's going on, when you have those penalties like that, you don't deserve to win. The offense, the biggest thing was the lack of concentration. And we should have first and goal at the 2, no problem. And 3 plays before that, we have 2 guys line up on the ball. And then we overcame it with Devo's play there on 3rd and 8. But we didn't because we had 2 guys off the ball. That was a big one. And then to miss the field goal after that. The defense, 3 drives where you have a personal foul on all 3 of those drives. I think 2 of them ended up in points. But that was stuff that we can control, and I didn't get to see them all, but you can't have 3 personal fouls on 3 drives in the second half and expect to win.
As a coach, just how does that make you feel, like these mistakes that keep happening this late into the season?
I'm not going to say that they keep happening when it comes to penalties. Some weeks are worse than others. Today was as bad as it gets. I know we're in the front half of the league when it comes to penalties, but today was, the situations when we got those penalties, how we got them, that was real disappointing.
Did you see the second Pearsall legal formation penalty before it happened? Did you know that was going to be a penalty?
No, I didn't. We went on the quick count, so you need 1 guy on and 1 guy off.
What did you see on Purdy's interception?
It looked like he was going to try to layer the ball over whoever the nickel was, and as he was throwing it, he got hit, so he wasn't able to.
With Dre bringing him out, was that precautionary? Could he have gone back in if you guys needed it?
We didn't even discuss it. So once we heard about his calf, we shut him down.
Kyle, is it hard for you, your 4th-string running back, and with the 3rd-string left tackle, 2nd-string guard, on and on? Is it hard, given that type of injury situation, to kind of judge Brock and his performance, or do you say no, you still got to overcome a lot of this stuff?
You look at each play. You don't. That's why you watch film. You don't try to just have a sentence to define the whole game and get on that plane and watch a lot of the film. Yeah, it makes it tougher and stuff for those situations, but just as a team, regardless of those situations, those penalties I just discussed, I don't want to get into the situations with injuries. We had every opportunity to win that game, but you don't give yourself an opportunity when you make some of those mistakes.
You mentioned earlier things you can control. And as many injuries as you've had this season, it seems like a few times after games you talk about that, things you can control. Is that how much source of frustration, I guess, is that some of this is stuff, isn't the opponent, it's stuff you can control?
Yeah, that's when you got 1st and goal at the 2 and you make it 3rd and goal at the 18 or whatever that is, and you miss a kick and it's completely something that you've done on your own, that's very frustrating. It makes it much harder.
Kittle and Devo seem to be having some of the vintage kind of performances out there. What does that say about them amid the circumstances here?
That's how I expect them to play every week. Those guys are good players, and circumstances to me don't change anything. When you get an opportunity to make a play, I expect guys to do it, and expect those guys to do it as much as anyone in this league.
When you've got backups, in at left tackle and left guard. Does that restrict the plays that you call, or are you calling plays differently because of that setup?
Well, you got to think about all that stuff. Everything goes into it, but you also got to look at what the score is, the time on the clock, down and distance, what they're playing. But everything goes into what you decide on the play call.
Kyle,
With the
what are your
personal
confidence?
penalties, especially the one on North, obviously they can happen, but how much of that do you think is frustration boiling over on your part just because where the season's gone?
None.
What's your confidence level in Jake Moody right now?
I mean, it wasn't good out there missing that kick. You know, I don't know exactly what happened on the snap and the hold, but that's one he's got to make.
How much time did Burford get a tackle this week, or has he got?
He's been getting all year.
Yeah.
He's been our third all year, so just.
Tua completed a lot of passes to running backs in this game. How do you think he did defending Tua?
I mean, Tua completes up. I mean, he's the league in completions. I mean, that's what he's great at. So he does a good job at that. Our goal was to play more of the pass, and we knew we'd give up some in the run game. Try to get him to third down. That's what was so frustrating about those 3 penalties. I thought we would have got him to third down, especially on one of them. Gave him some freebies, and you give them too many. I mean, Tua's going to make some good throws. I thought he made some big ones today, but that wasn't the reason we lost. It was accumulation of things.
Kelly, here in the opening drive, you had 3rd and 1, and then Taylor got stopped short. It looked like maybe he did have it. Did you not get a good angle? Do you consider challenging that?
No, I didn't get a good angle, but they said upstairs they didn't think we'd win, so it's a tough short yardage not to get.
You're obviously preoccupied with today, but this is the first time you've been in this stadium since the Super Bowl. Did that enter your mind at all?
I did a little bit when I got into my coach's locker room, but nothing with the game or anything.
You guys good? All right, guys.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's Kyle Shanahan and his presser talking about it. That's the way how it went on Sunday as the 49ers would fall to the Miami Dolphins by a score of 29 to 17. And just a reminder coming up, we will send you for those of you getting ready to watch Monday Night Football between the Green Bay Packers, the Saints and the Packers at Lambeau Field. That will be coming up in about a little more than about 15 minutes from now at Lambeau Field. The Packers were at 10-4 against the Saints, who are 9-5. And, the Packers most likely will be going to the playoffs, and they pretty much are going to control their own destiny. They need a win, and, it's between them and Washington. Could be bound for one of the final 2 spots. And, so for the 49ers, this is kind of, they shot themselves. Like Kyle said, you're not going to win games when you have too many mental mistakes, multiple personal foul penalties that sustained the Dolphins' drive. Then you had the 2 costly damaging penalties, 2 illegal formation penalties cost by Ricky Pearsall. Mental mistakes right there cost them 5 yards apiece. That brought them up to the 18. As a result, Jake Moody misses a 41-yard field goal attempt, and they get apps on a 3rd and goal. You got to get some points out of there, at least salvage a field goal. That has just kind of been the Niners' kind of been a microcosm of the entire season. And, the Niners last year, they were getting the breaks. They didn't have the many injuries, but it's just one of those years. You're coming off a Super Bowl hangover to lose that heartbreaker to Kansas City once again. Then, with all the injuries and then players, multiple players losing their child at a very young age or it's such a sad. This has just kind of been a sad year for the 49ers, for the faithful. So, we're going to see what this team is for the last 2 weeks of the season. Nothing but for pride and for people trying to stay on this roster for 25. And we're going to take just a look at the stats. And before we do that, I want to just give you an update around the NFL for week number 16 or week 16 around the NFL. With the NFL Week 16, recap of the school live view course. This is now the week of the holiday season. Live, you guys are tuning in on Niners Radio 49. Live, you guys, maybe the young people are now folk watching you now because the school is everybody's now on on the holiday break on the 2-week vacation. Whether you're at the grade school, high school, or college level, on colleges, everybody out for a month. So we're gonna be tomorrow we're going to have another edition of 49ers Live. We'll have it sometime during the early midday. We'll have a very short, condensed show. Tomorrow we will have a very short, condensed show, probably at early morning, midday, because I'm going to be out about doing some errands, getting last-minute Christmas deals, and then, there'll be no 49ers Live on Wednesday. We'll preview the Niners and Lions on Thursday. We're going to hopefully get somebody to watch the preview the 49ers and Lions for Monday Night Football either Thursday or Friday during the daytime. And then of course, we'll be back at it. And then, by the way, tomorrow we'll have a special edition of 49ers Live, the holiday edition live on Niners Radio 49. We're also going to give you the replay. In case you missed it on 49ers Live, we will have you the 49ers Live show of 49ers holiday edition of 49ers Tailgate. And we did that more than 11 days ago. We gave out some stuff, giving back to the community during the holiday season. And you're going to enjoy it tomorrow on Niners Radio 49. And we will have that. We'll show you the full show in its entirety. And then a reminder, 1 week from tonight, we'll be back. I'll be back out there taping our final 49ers Tailgate show for 2024. It'll be the last show for 2024. First time this early in a meaningful, first time it's going to be, this tailgate show is not, it's going to be meaningless, we'll have nothing for playoff implications for the first time other than outside in a full normal year, which does not include the COVID year where we had to shut down, shelter in place for the first time since 2018 in a full normal year. So this is going to be for the first time. We'll have a full show with no playoff implications. And this was, of course, doing Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's second year of the rebuilding. But, of course, we've been through this so many times over the years, even doing the non-playoff years. Of course, coming up next week will mark the 10-year anniversary when the 49ers had parted ways with Jim Harbaugh. And, after an 8-8 season, they end up at one point they were 7-4 right after they beat the New York Giants. They go on, end up losing 4. They're winning only just once in their final 5 games. And and that's because of all the distractions of Harbaugh. The rumors were flirting, and plus players having run-ins with the law, getting in trouble. So that was then. But this was just an injury-plagued year with San Francisco, and what the 49ers and hopefully the Niners can do, try to finish strong, play the role of spoiler, try to salvage some pride, try to salvage what's less of a disappointing season. And it's tough, coming back from a serious injury like that. You got to turn that switch on again. So, but, like I said, we're not going nowhere. We're going to be doing some stuff in the offseason. I'm going to try to get Matt Mayoko, 49ers Insider for NBC Sports Bay Area, him and her and Jennifer Lee Chan, after the season concludes, we'll have a recap. We'll get some other people. We'll do some stuff in the offseason, though, too, looking at the draft, what the Niners need. The big need for the 49ers is to get that offensive line. They need to get an offensive line back. They need to get beef up the offensive line. Offensive line has been terrible this year. And, the guy that's drafting and maybe sign up couple players in the free agency. We'll get to that when that time comes during the off season. So right now we're now at 5:06, 6 minutes past the top of the hour, 5 o'clock. We got about 9 minutes left of this show before we send you off to those you want to watch Monday Night Football on ABC. We'll be back with you on Niners Radio 49 I believe all this week we're going to be on early. We know 49ers Live tonight because of all the bowl games and the continuance of the college football playoff. And just let me just give you a reminder of what happened on Sunday with the NFL week as we're getting down towards the stretch drive of the NFL playoffs. As the Rams were winners of the Jets 19-9. And the Rams have sole possession of first place. They could clinch the NFC West with a win next week against the Cardinals or on Saturday or a Seahawks loss. And then the Seahawks fell to the Vikings yesterday. Arizona Cardinals fall to the last place Carolina Panthers in overtime. Their loss eliminates them from postseason play. They kind of hit the skids and you know, it's all, like I said, it's all for pride next week. By the way, we will have David Murphy from Big Sky Sports. We'll preview the Niners and Cardinals next week. We'll preview them next week on our podcast when the new year hits. And then so the 49ers, the best they could do is if you look at the NFC standings, the division, I'm just waiting for this to warm up. Coming up in a few, and then so you look at the NFC West. The Niners sit now at 6-9, dead last in the NFC West. Arizona, with their loss yesterday, are at 7-8. They've been completely eliminated from playoff contention. Now it's all about the Cardinals and Rams. The Rams will play the Cardinals Saturday night down at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. If the Cardinals and the Rams could clinch the NFC West with a win over Arizona, with a win, and then the Seahawks will play the Bears on Thursday Night Football in Chicago. So if they could win, and if the Seahawks lose, they could wrap up the division on Thursday night, on Saturday night, and they play the card with a win. So pretty much the Rams control their own destiny. A win, they could win it with a Seahawks loss and a win over Arizona Saturday night. The Seahawks will play the Chicago Bears in Chicago on Sunday night. On Thursday Night Football. That game will be on Amazon Prime with Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit giving you a call at Soldier Field in Chicago. So, and then also, and the Bears, a struggling Bears team who sit there at 4-11 with a 9-game losing streak. They were 4-2 at one point, and now have lost 9 in a row. They just really never recovered from that Hail Mary loss to the Washington Redskins, or I should say the Commanders, and it's been a struggle. And and they had fired their coach after that disaster on Thanksgiving Day against Detroit. So you look at the standings for the top spot. Remember, the top seeded team gets home field advantage for the playoffs. And you look at the conference right now. As the Chiefs own a 2-game lead over the Buffalo Bills for the top spot. The Bills need a win out, and Kansas City have to lose their final 2 games for Buffalo to get the number 1 seed. They'll be tied with 14 wins and 3 losses, identical records, but the Bills would have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. The Steelers and the Ravens are now tied for the top spot in the AFC North. They're both tied to divisional wise. The Steelers, but the Steelers will own the second tiebreaker because they have a better conference record Then it's Baltimore. Houston sits at 9-6. It's a three-way tie for the Chargers, and then if the Bengals could somehow win their final two games, and then Denver loses out, then the Bengals will get into the playoffs. And then in the NFC, if Detroit could win their final, if they win their final two games, then they would win the NFC. They would win the NFC North and will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Minnesota's 13-2. It's going to be a doggone shame that the Vikings could win their final two games. They could go possibly 15-2 or 14-3. 14-3, and will be on the road throughout the entire playoffs no matter what. And then Philadelphia, right now, it sits at 12-3. They have a one-game lead ahead of the. They're one game back for that top seed. And then the Packers are 10-4. Washington sits at 10-5. So it's 1-2. There could be somebody with at least 10 wins or more don't get into the playoffs, and then the Rams with the division, and Seattle is still mathematically alive, but if they lose to Chicago on Thursday night, they could be eliminated. And then if you look at the bottom spot of the NFC, the worst record, the New York Giants are on track to get the number one overall pick in the draft, as the struggling Giants are only two playoff appearances since Tom Coughlin's retirement. So we are now only 2 minutes before the top of the hour 5. We got a few more things we're going to do. Now we're going to shift focus and take a look back of as we continue to celebrate the 49ers' 40-year anniversary of their 1984 Super Bowl season. From 1984, the 49ers finished the regular season with a 15-1 record, the best in all of the NFL, with the best record. And then, of course, this week were off. They were off on. It was wild card weekend, and two games. One was played on Saturday, one was played on Sunday. But the 49ers were off that weekend. They had the bye week, so they got a chance to take a week off and rest as they get that little Christmas time off before they get back to work, as they were prepared to take on who their opponent for the playoffs coming up. But we are still going to take a look back at the playoffs from that wild card weekend as we take a look, and as we'll take a look back for this would be both the NFC AFC wild card playoff game. And the first score we take a look back 1984. You know, losing players to retirement and Terry Bradshaw's retirement, Lynn Swann, and he brought in Mark Malone, and they win a division title. The same Steelers who came out to San Francisco with the stick and upset the 49ers back in week number 7 to hand the Niners their only defeat of the season. So that's and that how it went. Now let's go in our final segment. We're going to go in our final segment. This is from Brianna McDonald, team report. The 49ers giving back during this holiday season. This is a good, feel-good story. As Curtis Robinson, Yurda Gross Matos, George Tongues, and more 49er players talk about holiday characters as teammates share their favorite festive songs and dream holiday vacations and so much more. This is from the video courtesy of 49ers.com. Brianna McDonald with the team lead reporter giving us the report. The video courtesy of 49ers.com. Let's show you that clip, which it will begin right this moment. So you're watching 49ers Live here on this Monday, the aftermath. Niners fall to the Dolphins 29-17. The Niners have lost now 5 of their last 6 games. So we'll share you that right now.
What's up, faithful? We're at Levi's Stadium celebrating the holiday season. I'm going to catch up with some of your favorite 49ers players and ask them some holiday-themed questions. Which holiday character would you like to have as your teammate?
Buddy the Elf, because he has a cannon.
And then what's your favorite holiday treat?
Chocolate chip cookies that my mom makes.
What holiday character would you like as your teammate?
I'd probably say the Grinch. A guy with a little bit of attitude, determined to stop the holiday. So he'd be a good teammate.
What position is he at?
I'd probably say corner. Corner. He's gonna shut the field down, let them know about it. I definitely want the Grinch.
It's got to be Buddy the Elf. He's got a pretty good arm. Rumor has it he can throw a snowball 80 yards, so he could probably throw a football 70.
All right, and what's your favorite holiday song? Could you give us a line?
Chestnuts roasting.
Very good. What holiday character would you like to be your teammate?
I'm going to go Sydney Lou Who from The Grinch because she seems very articulate and, masterful with her plans, I guess.
Pretty good. And do you have a favorite holiday treat?
Probably my mom's homemade Christmas cookies. It's pretty, I think it's generic, but that's probably my go-to.
Yeah, it's like a tradition, right?
Yeah.
Which holiday character would you like as a teammate?
I think it would be the Grinch because before, leading up to all the holiday festivities, he's not really into it. He's a Grinch, and that's kind of what I'd like to describe myself as. But then when Christmas comes around, he flips the script and he's all jolly, and I like it.
All right. What position is the Grinch at?
Man, he has to be like a punter. You know what I'm saying? Not really in the mix, but in the mix, kind of doing like all the dirty work, low key, under the radar. So I think it would be a punter.
All right, nice. Another question. If you could spend the holidays anywhere in the world, where would you like to spend them?
I will spend them in Tokyo, Japan.
Pretty nice. All right, and then happy holidays to the camera.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, faithful. Woo!
All right, that was a good piece from 49ers, courtesy from 49ers.com. That was Miss Brianna McDonald, 49ers team reporter from 49ers.com, giving us that footage. And that's great what the Niners do every year during this holiday season. We're now only less than 48 hours away from Christmas, as we're getting down to the final, this is technically beginning the last full week of 2024. As you know, we during this time of the year as the year's winding down. I know this year has been tough for the 49ers, all you Niner fans, the faithful. It's been tough because of what happened back 10 months ago, that devastating, heartbreaking loss to the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs, and Dre Greenlaw blowing out his Achilles in the Super Bowl. Just a bad break that kind of changed the course of that ball game. And then, come out back with this year with all what happened with the holdouts and the injuries, multiple players, Trent Williams, who probably his season is done, Trent Williams and Charvarius Ward losing two young kids, so way too young. And we all take a look of so much we have to be thankful for during this holiday season, because it can be very stressful. It could be very, it's very challenging as we get down to it. I always say when the new calendar year, this is like where the pros take over, as we're now in the late December, this last full week of the year, where it's the shopping, the veterans take over, the pros take over. We're right towards the sprint, towards the finish line of 24. And I know it's been a difficult year for 49er fans with all the injuries and all of what has happened. This time of year, last year around this time a year ago, the 49ers were moving one step closer towards having home field advantage throughout the playoffs and, getting that number one seed. And then we all know what happened to the Super Bowl. And, that's just part of it is. Every year is different. You're not going to always have the same results. And when you go through the gauntlet, what the Niners have gone through the last 5 years, 3 straight NFC Championship games, 4 of the last 5 overall, every year is going to be different, and every year is going to be different. By the way, before we go off, I want to, as we go back to 1984, we continue to pay homage to the 49ers. We're going to have a little bit of a pop culture, a little pop culture. I want to, this is a little fun exercise from the year 1984, as we look back at what was going on. Looking back of 1984, that year, and when the playoffs were playing on that date from 1984, I want to go back to that date from 1984. So we're going to go back to 1984. These were the top songs, the pop charts from 1984, as we're getting down to the final week. And we're going to from December 22nd, 1984. So on this date from 1984, the top songs as we get towards the end of the year from 1984, we're going to from 1984, the number one song was by Madonna, Like a Virgin. And that was one of the top albums of 1985. All the good ones are coming in at the end of the year. Duran Duran with the Wild Boys Hall & Oates, Without a Touch. Honey Drippers, Sea of Love. New Edition at number 5. Cool It Now. That's a big blockbuster. New Edition. Pat Benatar, We Belong. Shaka Khan at number 7, I Feel For You. Jack Wagner, All I Need. Julian Lennon, Valorette. Wham goes to number 11, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. A young George Michael, of course, he would in early 85, he would have another number one hit single, which really his rise was Careless Whisper, a timeless ballad. Byron Adams and Run to You. Cyndi Lauper, All Through the Night. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Chicago, You're the Inspiration. Survivor, I Can't Hold You Back. Jermaine Jackson, who just recently celebrated his 70th birthday, Do What You Do. Lionel Richie, Penny Lover. Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band with Understanding. And the Cars in Hello Again. Those were the hits from December 22nd, yesterday, the week ending date, December 22nd, 1984. And then so that is the and that's where on that date, 1984, we do a little pop culture, what was on the U.S. pop charts when the first round of the NFL playoffs was going on, as we continue to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the 49ers Super Bowl championship season for 1984. So, like I said again, as we're getting down to it, you know, as we're getting towards the week of the holidays, as a lot of you, of course, our thoughts and prayers for safe travels wherever you go for your holidays. Make sure you go out, you be safe out there, drive very safely. Be safe out there. We're going to visit relatives and friends. And just this kind of week is all about be kind to one another during this holiday season. And I know it's time we share what you've accomplished this year. I know it's tough for the 49ers this year with all the injuries what they've went through. Multiple players losing kids at a young age, death. You know, it's not easy. And also this week, our thoughts with the 49ers radio and our Niner faithful. We also send our condolences to, this is some non-Niner stuff, but Ricky Henderson, who was one of my favorite outfitters growing up, watching baseball in the 80s, passing away late night Friday night, early Saturday. Such a sad thing. His birthday would be 66 coming up on Wednesday. Such a sad time to be an A's fan, to lose that franchise, a proud franchise who 35 years ago were in their true glory when they won the World Series. As I always say, 1989 was one of my favorite sports seasons in the Bay Area. I've seen both the Bay Bridge World Series and then the A's winning that series 4 straight, and the 49ers, of course, were the defending Super Bowl champs, won that Super Bowl against the Bengals in a thriller in January of '89, and then we're on a mission to win back-to-back Super Bowls, and they beat the Broncos 55-10. By the way, tomorrow we will have another edition of 49ers Live. We're going to have an early edition, Christmas Eve edition tomorrow because of the holiday. We're not going to have 49ers Live tonight. On Tuesday night, we'll have it earlier because I'm going to be going to a church service, a few church services in the city for Christmas Eve, and just time out for myself. And, you know, this is kind of my down period where I get to visit some family and friends during this week. And then what we'll do tomorrow, we'll have a holiday edition of 49ers Tailgate. We'll give you the latest of what's going on in the 49ers. We will tomorrow, I promise you tomorrow, we will do Kyle Shanahan's Monday presser from today, his conference call from today. Tomorrow we'll have that audio. Listen to it tomorrow in its entirety. That's going to be courtesy by 49ers Web Zone, and we'll have that full entirety tomorrow. And then in our 49ers 30, as we look back at our 49ers 35-year flashback, we're paying homage to the 35-year anniversary of the 49ers winning back-to-back Super Bowls. We'll take a look back at week number 16 as the 49ers taking on the Chicago Bears team. Two teams are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Two teams are heading in different directions. The Chicago Bears, a team that the Niners beat in the NFC Championship in January of '89 in Chicago, now been completely eliminated from the playoff picture in the NFC the team had won were the class of the NFC Central Division, winning 5 consecutive NFC Central titles between 84 through 88. Now on the outside looking in, coming into their regular season finale, playing out the schedule on a 5-game losing streak. We're going to be out of the playoffs for the first time since 1983, taking on a Niners team who are playing their regular season finale with home field advantage wrapped up, who 2 weeks earlier wrapped up the home field advantage with their come-from-behind win over the Rams on Monday Night Football 30-27, with Montana hitting John Taylor 2 90-yard-plus touchdowns to give them that game. We'll take a look back at that game, and then we'll take a look back at that 49er Bears game, which had really nothing in the standings. We'll take a look back at that game, just the getting players rested, getting ready for that next season, as the Niners getting ready to be on a mission to win, to join that elusive team, join the Steelers at that time as the only teams to win 4 Super Bowls, and add themselves as a permanent place in NFL history. We'll take a look back at that game, and then we'll take a look back at Week 16, the regular season finale of all what's going on in the NFL schedule, scoreboard as well. And then Wednesday we'll have a day off. Wednesday will be a day off. Thursday, and then on Thursday, the day after Christmas, we will have in our 49ers 30-year anniversary look back at the 1994 49ers. We'll take a look back of Week 17. 49ers traveling up to the upper Midwest, taking on the Minnesota Vikings at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, where the Niners, with their 42-19 win over the Broncos, clinching home field advantage as they're getting ready to take that, as they're resting all their players and getting ready towards taking on the Minnesota Vikings team that desperately needs that win to wrap up the NFC Central, led by former Niners assistant, who was an assistant with Bill Walsh, Dennis Green, as the Niners will rest a lot of their players, and some didn't even suit up as they're getting ready for that next season, take that next step of winning their 5th Super Bowl in franchise history. So that's going to do it for now. And I know it's for Niner fans, just hang in there. It's been a difficult year. And by the way, I forgot again, tomorrow we will have the full holiday edition of a special 49ers tailgate. We taped this about 11 days ago out at Levi Stadium before the 49er Rams game. Yours truly giving out some holiday greetings and all kinds of stuff. And we gave it out, a lot of good stuff. If you missed, you could watch it right now on youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. And please hit the subscribe button. Our mission is trying to get 1,000 subscribers. But please, but if you missed it, if you didn't have time to watch it, we will give you the full replay of that show in its entirety tomorrow. And then, after that, and then our final show will be the following week. We will have one more 49ers tailgate show at Levi Stadium. That will complete our 11th season at the Mecca, our 12th overall, and we will, it's all for pride, though, and we're not going nowhere. We'll be doing this we'll be having some stuff during the off season as well. Even during the playoffs, we'll be doing updates, and we'll try to get some guests on, including Matt Mayoko, Jeffrey Lee Chan. We hopefully try to get either Dave Lombardi or Tim Kawakami from the San Francisco Standard. They do a lot of good work on the Niners information, and talk about and some others dissect what went wrong for the 49ers in 2024. That's it for now. For all of you catch all the latest news on 49ers football, go to 49ers.com. And all of our content, in case you missed this podcast, check me out at youtube.com/@NinersRadio49. That's it for now. Brian Professor B. Davis signing off, and so long. Thank you for watching 49ers Live this afternoon. Now we're in the evening hours. We're now only 3 minutes before the top of the hour, 6 o'clock. For 6 o'clock, for those of you who are watching Monday Night Football right now, we'll get you out there to the Green Bay Packers New Orleans Saints game out in Green Bay. Professor B signing off. Thank you for watching 49ers Live, Monday edition, The Aftermath, with yours truly, Professor P, on Niners Radio 49. 49ers Live, Monday, The Aftermath, is a presentation of Niners Radio 49 in association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan and every fan has a voice. The network home of champions. 49ers football, faithful to the Bay. Good night, everybody, and wish all of you very happy holidays.